Jimi Hendrix could make a Stratocaster weep, scream, and talk. He blew minds at Woodstock and changed rock forever. But what if I told you there was one band he couldn't stand? Not just mild dislike, he hated them. And he never wanted the world to know. Stick around, because this isn't just about petty drama. It's about ego clashes, broken rules, and a war of music styles that nearly exploded on stage. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Hendrix, who admired everyone from Dylan to the Beatles, had zero love for this band. Jimi Hendrix wasn't the kind of artist who talked trash. He praised just about everyone. He called Bob Dylan a poet, said the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper inspired him deeply, and even admired Eric Clapton, his closest rival. In an era of massive egos and backstage feuds, Hendrix stayed chill, respectful, cool. In interviews, you'd hear him compliment jazz greats like Miles Davis and John Coltrane. He was obsessed with innovation, with sound exploration. He once said, "Music doesn't lie. If there is something to be changed in this world, then it can only happen through music." So for a guy that peaceful, that respectful, to hate a band, you know it had to be serious. Let's rewind to 1967. Hendrix is exploding onto the scene. Hey Joe, Purple Haze, and The Wind Cries Mary are lighting up both US and UK charts. But he's not just another rock star. He's redefining what the guitar could do. He's playing it with his teeth, behind his back, setting it on fire. People are stunned. At the Monterey Pop Festival, Hendrix burns his guitar as the world watches in awe. But just before he takes the stage, another band performs. And they leave a bitter taste in Hendrix's mouth that would never quite go away. The goofy, made-for-TV band that hit it big with songs like "I'm a Believer" and "Daydream Believer." They were America's answer to the Beatles, except, many argued, they weren't real musicians. Critics called them the Prefab Four. The Monkees didn't even play their instruments on their first two albums. Their songs were written by other people. And their show? Scripted comedy. So how did these two completely different acts collide? Well, it was a publicity stunt. The Monkees' management thought it would be cool to bring Hendrix on tour with them. A move to show they had rock credibility. And Hendrix? He needed more exposure in the US, where he was still relatively underground. So he agreed. But nobody couldn't have predicted the chaos that followed. Night after night, Monkees fans, mostly young teenage girls, had no idea what to do with Jimi Hendrix. They came for bubblegum pop and got psychedelic thunder. They screamed for Davy Jones and got a 15-minute guitar solo. Fans booed. Some even walked out. Hendrix? He was miserable. He reportedly said, "It's like playing to a bunch of dead people." He felt insulted. He wasn't opening for real musicians. He was warming up the stage for TV actors in matching outfits. But it wasn't just about the crowd. It was personal. According to people close to Hendrix, he believed the Monkees were a mockery of everything music stood for. They were fake, manufactured, artificial. And for an artist who lived and breathed musical truth, that was unforgivable. Eventually, he bailed. After just 7 shows, Hendrix quit the tour. No apology, no warning, just gone. He'd had enough of the circus. After bailing from the Monkees tour, Jimi Hendrix never publicly trashed the band. That wasn't his style. But behind the scenes, his words were sharp. According to several music historians in interviews with Hendrix's inner circle, he felt the whole tour was a setup, a clash of authenticity versus artifice, and he didn't want to be the pawn. A roadie from the tour once recalled Hendrix saying, "How can you go on stage and pretend to be something you are not? That's not music, man. That's television." That one line sums up Hendrix's entire frustration. He didn't just hate the Monkees' music. He hated what they represented. Remember, the 60s was a time of revolution in music. The Beatles were transforming pop into high art. Dylan was bringing poetry into folk. And Hendrix, he was bending rock into something spiritual. Meanwhile, the Monkees were still pretending to play instruments in choreographed suits. The contrast was jarring. And it wasn't just Hendrix. Frank Zappa, another musical visionary, once appeared on the Monkees show ironically, mocking the whole thing. Even the music press called them plastic. But for Hendrix, this wasn't just parody. It was personal betrayal. His manager had booked the tour without telling him who the headliners were. He only found out after agreeing. It's no surprise then that he only lasted 7 shows. And his exit wasn't quiet. Rumors swirled. Some said the Monkees themselves had asked him to leave. Others claimed Hendrix had simply refused to go on stage. But in truth, it was mutual. The Monkees crowd didn't understand Hendrix, and Hendrix didn't respect the Monkees. After the tour debacle, Hendrix doubled down on his own vision. He retreated to the studio, started working on Axis, Bold as Love, and surrounded himself with serious musicians. Noel Redding, Mitch Mitchell, Billy Cox. People who got it. People who lived music the way he did. And the Monkees, they tried to shake off the fake band label. By 1968, they were writing their own songs and playing their own instruments. But it was too late. To Hendrix, they were already stamped in his memory as the band that shouldn't have shared his stage. Ironically, Mike Nesmith of the Monkees later said he loved Hendrix's music and respected his talent deeply. "We were fans," he admitted in a 1997 interview. But we didn't belong on the same stage. And Hendrix, he never mentioned them again in public. But the private comments, the sighs, the groans, the eye rolls when their name came up, said it all. Over the years, the story of Hendrix's distaste for the Monkees morphed into something much bigger than it was. Some framed it as a feud. Others exaggerated it into pure hatred. But here's the truth. Hendrix didn't waste energy hating other bands. He was too obsessed with creating music that broke barriers. What he did hate was phoniness. And the Monkees, at least during that tour, represented everything fake about the music industry. The suits, the lip-syncing, the scripted charm. That clashed with Hendrix's soul-deep need for authenticity. But he never launched a public smear campaign. In fact, he kept his critiques mostly behind closed doors. What's fascinating is that after the tour, the Monkees tried hard to evolve. They fought for creative control, wrote their own songs, and eventually earned some critical respect. Hendrix, meanwhile, was becoming a legend, but also burning out. Fame, pressure, and drugs were eating away at him. By 1970, just 3 years after the Monkees' mess, Hendrix was gone, dead at 27. But those who knew him say he never carried bitterness. He joked about the tour in interviews. One time, when asked why he quit, he simply smiled and said, "Because I wanted to live." Today, fans still debate whether Hendrix really hated the Monkees or just hated the situation. But let's be honest, it doesn't matter. What matters is what Hendrix stood for: truth in music, soul over showbiz, and sound that could melt your mind. So maybe he didn't hate a band. Maybe he hated what the industry tried to turn him into. And maybe the Monkees were just in the wrong place, at the wrong time. Either way, one thing is clear. When Hendrix walked off that tour bus, he walked straight into legend.